All right, y'all. So we are live on the Facebook and the YouTube side. We are going to unveil, or I will say review, the my keto grading system on how to actually grade keto items and keto products to know whether they're going to be conducive to you losing weight on the ketogenic lifestyle. So stay tuned. So welcome, y'all. Welcome. We are going to unveil or preview the grading system. Y'all can see that I pulled that up on the screen. I'm going to take my picture off so y'all can get the full size screen for today. But y'all hear me talk about my grading system a lot. Well, I'll make it a little half and half for the moment. So y'all hear me talk about my grading system a lot. And my grading system is where I break down the keto products and I give them a score, basically. Because I get a lot of messages of people asking, like, okay, is this keto? Is this not keto? Is this something I can eat, or is it something I should stay away from? So I've created a grading system, and because of that, so hey AJ, I've created this grading system because, and literally, I've been working on this thing for like 8 or 9 months. I really have just really kind of I've had it down, but really just working on the delivery system because it's proprietary. It is something that I created that I think works for most, if not all, products. I mean, I'm sure there might be something out there that's like, oh, it doesn't fit. But for the most part, I've tried everything. I mean, in my mastermind groups, we've had people just kind of give me products and we would look at them and grade them and it matches up. It fits. So I've had to revamp it a few times, but it is ready for the world, y'all. So it's ready for the world. And I will be previewing it. So it will be on my website. So those that are on YouTube and those that are on the Facebook side, you won't see it in the bio right now, but I will update the bio later where you can actually get to this. I really wanted it to be in an app type format where you could just pull it up on your phone. But I felt like I have a website already. So this would be the best way to get you to just be able to pull it up, pull that page up on the website and be able to find the items that you're looking for. So keep in mind, y'all, this is a preview. You are looking at a part of my website that's not live. But you definitely want to get on my website, ketocoache.com. You want to be a part of that website because this is actually going to be in a private area where only members will be able to get into to be able to get to this grading system. Because like I said, this is proprietary information and this is literally created by me. So over this last 9 months, and I had to shout out to the mastermind who has worked with me through this and given me suggestions and has literally just thrown products at me on a daily basis. Like, okay, let's see it, and it works. So we see that the grading system literally works. We have people who've lost 80 plus 100 pounds inside the mastermind just based off my ingredients teaching. So just teaching about certain ingredients to stay away from, because there are people who just eat and don't know what they're eating in a sense, because somebody put keto on the bag. And man, it's even to the point now where grocery stores, they have keto stickers. So they could be an item that is not so keto that they can literally peel off and put a keto sticker on it. And the company doesn't even have to have keto on the bag. So you got to really be mindful of that. So on the Facebook side, y'all going to see my face disappear, but I'm going to go ahead and look here at the sweeteners. Oh, shoot. I done hung up. Somebody was calling me. And I'm like, oh man, what happened? So let me text him real quick. All right. So we are going over this system here, y'all. So here we go. So when you take a look at the website, you can see it says Keto Coach E grading system, bad and artificial sweetness. So the first thing we're going to look at is those bad artificial sweetness, because those people who know me and who have been around in my groups, they know that like the bad artificial sweetness, my main one that I talk about the most is sucralose. So you click that. When you click that button, you'll go to the bad artificial sweetness and you'll see the picture and you'll see sucralose. So if you see any of these items, I got a lot going on, y'all. So if you click any of the, if you see any of these items, it is a automatic fail. Hey, Miss Karen. So if you see any of these items, it is an automatic fail. And you can see I say put it back. So if you see any of these items, put it back. Sucralose, aspartame, saccharin. So any of those items is an automatic fail. You just put it back. So these are like three of the things that I consider to just be total automatic fail. So here goes Sasha. As soon as I get passionate about something, she just cannot help herself. Sasha, will you stop it? As soon as I get passionate and start talking about something, here she come. So y'all on Clubhouse will get to meet Sasha too. So we have those artificial sweeteners. The next thing is sugar alcohol. So I put these in a list for you. So these are all listed, so you don't have to guess. So the bad artificial sweeteners there, we had the saccharin, we had sucralose, and we have aspartame. You see those items? Put them back. Put it back immediately. Bad sugar alcohols. So the bad sugar alcohols, I give you a list of sugar alcohols. I also tell you that if it ends in OL, it's probably a sugar alcohol. So I give you this acronym that was created between myself and the mastermind, which is SAME, SAME. Because when you look at the different sweeteners that are out there, the sweeteners that you want to focus on are stevia, allulose, monk fruit, erythritol. So we use the acronym SAME to help me remember, right? Maybe it helps you remember too, but it helped me remember because I would be like stevia, I'd be trying to remember them all. And like, which ones did I say? Which ones did I not say? So I use acronyms a lot. Y'all notice I have an acronym for ketones. Like I have acronyms for a lot of things. I guess that's just the teacher in me. But SAME, stevia, allulose, monk fruit, erythritol. So erythritol ends in OL, but erythritol is the only artificial sweetener that we're going to consider to be Keto Coach E approved. Now, you might work with other coaches who, may not teach that. So that's why I say Keto Coach E approved. Because maybe the way that you do keto isn't the way everybody else does keto. I just want to educate you on these things. So you can see, if you're online, you can see the Russell Stovers, right? Russell Stovers and the Atkins and Dodds, like these have maltitol in them. That is a bad artificial sweetener. So you can see the list: maltitol, sorbitol, lactitol, glycerol, isomalt. You can see xylitol in gum only. So I say you can have xylitol if it's in gum or candy. Then you have mannitol and glycerol. If it ends in OL, it's probably a sugar alcohol. And if it ends in OL and it's a sugar alcohol that is not erythritol, leave it in the store. Leave it in the store because they're going to subtract. They're going to subtract they're going to subtract it from the total carbs, and you're going to think like, oh, this is 2 net carbs, awesome, but it's got maltitol in it. Or it's got mannitol in it. So maltitol is probably the most popular one that you'll find out there. So that's the most popular one that you'll find on products. You'll find xylitol on some food products. A lot of these companies have gotten smart and they don't have all of that mess in them anymore. So you want to be sure that you are paying attention to that, because you can get something that has sugar alcohols and you done got used to doing net carbs and it's got maltitol in there instead of erythritol as the sweetener, and now your stomach is on fire. All right, so you can see even down here I put in a note, so although they can be subtracted, so the same thing I basically explained, even though you can subtract them, you can they can spike your blood sugar. So that are the bad sugar alcohol. So I have that on the site as well. So I see we got a few people popped into Club Keto over here. So yeah, I appreciate y'all popping in and checking out the room. Feel free if you want to come up on stage, especially those of y'all that I know. Y'all feel free to come up and y'all can moderate or do whatever you want. As I'm going through this, after I finish the lesson piece of it, I'm going to open up for Q&A on TikTok and Clubhouse, and we're just going to have a Q&A session. So here we have good flowers. So here goes some of the good flowers. And I'm looking at my website for those who don't know, those who might be on the other side of things. I'm looking at my website and I'm showing you exactly what you're going to be able to see and what you're going to be able to use in order to reference it. So I see AJ's on Facebook now. All right, AJ, I see you. Thanks for popping in there. So so these are the top two flowers, which is basically going to be your almond flower and your coconut flower. They're going to be your top two flowers, y'all. Like, I know sometimes like people want to like try to figure out what else. Stick to almond flower and coconut flower. Those are going to be your top two flowers. Those are going to be the good flowers. And here goes some others, like just in case, like maybe you're allergic to almonds or you're allergic to coconut and you just need another alternative. You got chia flour, you got flax meal, which is basically a ground up seed type flour. And then you have the nut flowers like walnut flour, hazelnut flour, pecan flour. And then you have like a lupin flour, which I wouldn't suggest to use like the lupin flour unless you just need to. Like if all the rest of the stuff just doesn't work for you, then that's going to help. And then some of the thickening agents like psyllium husk and xanthan gum. So these are the approved good flowers, y'all. But here again, stick to almond flour and coconut flour. I know there's a lot of I don't know what to call it, but I guess a lot of times people want to explore. They want to explore. But I'm telling y'all, the almond flour, coconut flour is not going to steer you wrong. That's going to keep you where you need to be, because some of the other things are going to be higher in carbs and not as good to cook with. So, although chia and flax seeds might be really good, but when you try to cook with it, it may not turn out like the almond flour is going to turn out. So almond flour is going to be your best bet, as well as for dietary reasons as well. So say good evening. Hey, Elena. Thanks for popping in here, y'all. So we are moving on to scrolling down here to our oils. So here goes some of the good oils, or the good oils, I should say. So here go the good oils that you should be focused on the ketogenic lifestyle. You have your avocado oil, your extra virgin olive oil, your coconut oils, your palm oils. It also says palm kernel oil as well. I'll probably add that one, because palm oil and palm kernel oil are really good at especially the palm kernel oils, like on the level of a coconut oil. You have MCT oil, sesame oil, macadamia oils are two that are less popular. So, but those oils are going to be okay. If any oil has the words high oleic in front of it, then it's going to be okay. It's going to be an okay oil. That means that they have not done the same processing that they would do to the regular type of oil. So when I go over the bad oils, you'll see that if it has a high oleic in front of it, especially sunflower and safflower oil, those are going to be ones you see that have high oleic. If you see that in front of it, then that's going to be a pretty good oil. So let's go down to the hidden sugars. So when we go down to hidden sugars, y'all know there are a lot of those, right? So here goes my list of hidden sugars that you need to pay attention to. And again, for those who may just be popping in, I'm going through. Those are on the visual on the YouTube and the Facebook side. Y'all can see that I am showing you my website, which this will be yours. You'll be able to use this when you go into the store. Feel like, man, I see this weird oil on here. Let me see if it's on the list. And then you can go and click bad oils. And if it's on the bad oils list, you might be like, I don't want that. And then you know that with my point system, the bad oils lose 10 points for every bad oil. So if it loses 10 points and it's within the realm, then you might be like, okay, I'll take this item. But you know that you're deducting points for the bad oil. At least you know what you're getting. So here go the sugars, the hidden sugars. So cane sugar, dextrose, agave. Agave is not really so much hidden, but people deem agave to be like a healthy sweetener. So when people go keto, they still kind of had that healthy sweetener mindset, and they're like, agave should be okay because it's been taught that agave and honey are the better sweeteners. But in the keto realm, the glycemic index is going to be too high. It's going to increase your blood sugar, which is going to increase your insulin, which is going to decrease your ketone production. So you don't want to, agave is one of those things that you don't want. And I make sure that's on the list because it's one of the questions I get all the time. We already know about fructose. Like high fructose corn syrup has been vilified for the last 10, 15 years. Like we know high fructose corn syrup is not good. We know that. They even do commercials that say no high fructose corn syrup. Like, so we know that that's not good. So glucose, malt. So when you see malt as a prefix or a suffix, then you know that that really is sugar. So when you see that word malt, then you want to be mindful that that is probably a sugar. Maltodextrin. So you see maltodextrin is that right there, right? So maltodextrin, that is one of those automatic fail items for me as well. So molasses, when you see molasses, you know that that is a sweetener. So hey Jazz, I see we have a few new people popped in. So I'm going over my lesson today is I'm talking about my grading system. So I'm giving a little preview of my grading system, in which should be complete sometime this week, where I'll actually have the site up where people can actually download it on their phone. So molasses, we have sucrose, dextrin, honey, I put sucralose on the list, but sucralose is on the sweetener list, so I'll remove that one from this list. Isomalto oligosaccharides. So that is usually hidden in the form of a fiber. But it has been known to spike blood sugar. So those are some of the hidden sugars. So y'all know any that you didn't hear on that list? Feel free to drop them in the comments, and I will definitely address those as well. So let me know if you see anything, if there's anything I did not talk about. So we talk about the hidden sugar. So here go inflammatory oils. So in my grading system, inflammatory oils lose 10 points for every one. So probably one of the most the one that people see the most is soybean oil and corn oil. So soybean oil, corn oil. And what is the reason for this? Because what I teach is basically to manage your blood sugar. Manage your blood sugar. Make sure that you are not going over you don't want to increase your blood sugar to the point where, here again, your insulin is going up, your blood sugar is up. That means your ketones are down. You cannot lose weight if your insulin is working. If your insulin is working, trying to pull your blood sugar back down, that's why diabetes is associated with weight gain. Because if that insulin is up and that insulin is working to try and bring that blood sugar down, you cannot lose weight. You're going to have a lot of difficulty losing weight. So the soybean oils are not necessarily an automatic fail, but they do cause inflammation. They do cause a level of inflammation. So Sasha is about to drive me nuts. I'm opening this door for her. Go ahead. So they do cause a source of inflammation. So soybean oil, you have corn oil, you have safflower oil, you have cottonseed oils, canola oils, grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is the one that people always ask, like, why grapeseed oil? Like, it's like, that should be fine. But there's something called the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, and pretty much all of these fail in that ratio because if you have too many omega-6s to omega-3s, then it becomes inflammatory to your body. So rice bran oil, margarine, and vegetable oils in general. So you lose 10 points. So this particular oils will lose 10 points. So if you get 2 or 3 of these oils in there, then you know that product is a bad product, and you know that you should put it back. So this is one of the things that that you'll notice. So imagine if you get a combination of these things, right? You get a combination of these things. So I talked about the sugars. Those sugars that you see, I didn't elaborate on those. When you see those sugars, those hidden sugars, they should show up on the added sugars. So you should see those on the added sugars. And if you don't see it, I would be very leery of that product. So if you see like cane sugar, and I know that like scares people to death when they see cane sugar, they're like, oh no, right? So if you see cane sugar and then you look at the sugar content and you don't see any number for added sugar, then that means that they lying because it can't have cane sugar in it and it's not in the added ingredients portion. So you'll notice that in the added ingredients portion, in my grading system, you lose 10 points for every gram of added sugar, because that way it teaches you that if you're they're basically just scooping sugar and dumping it in the product, scooping it, dumping it in the product. So if they basically scooping sugar and dumping it in the product, and I have an example that has that on here, They just scooping and dumping in the product. You could do that at home. Are you scooping 4 grams of sugar into anything that you're eating? That's like if you had a coffee and you put 4 grams of sugar in it. If it's a natural sugar, I say keep it low. But if they're adding sugar, then you know that this is definitely something that you need to be mindful of. And therefore, any added sugar loses 10 points for every gram of added sugar. And you'll see there's a product that probably a lot of people eat that in my grading system gets a whole fail, like a -40, because it's a lot of added sugar in it. So it's like 4 grams of sugar, but all of it's added. So we'll talk about that. So let's look at inflammatory. I talked about inflammatory oils already. I know it was good oils. Here go your inflammatory oils. Did I talk about inflammatory oils already? I think I did. I talked about inflammatory oils. I talked about the soybean oil. So y'all saw that. So here goes your starches to avoid. So here goes some of the starches to avoid. So you said, how do you feel about Crystal Light products? So Crystal Light is one of the things that I teach people I work with closely to leave it alone because it has sucralose. So this is what we're talking about right now. This is 50 cal 339. We're talking about my grading system. And in my grading system, sucralose is an automatic fail. So if it has sucralose in there, it's an automatic fail. So if I'm working with somebody and they're in weight loss mode, get rid of the sucralose. And there are so many people in my group. There are a handful of people in my group who, when they met me, they were drinking or using a lot of those sucralose items. Some kind of didn't want to get rid of it. And then when they finally came and got rid of it, they realized they saw the results. So there are a handful of people who did that. Sucralose, and you can tell it's addictive because when you tell people they got to put away an item that has sucralose in it, they are totally no, not that, not that item. So sucralose is one of those things. So we're looking at starches and flours. So I think that this list is going to be really helpful for people because starches and flours are always questionable. So hey, T Range, I see you in there, Talia. So thank you for popping in on the Facebook side. So cornstarch, tapioca starch, and flour. So you may see it as tapioca starch. You may see it as tapioca flour. So these are some of the things that you got to be mindful of. Rice starch / flour. So rice starch, rice flour. Potato starch / potato flour. Arrowroot flour. So arrowroot flour is not one you see on a lot of items, but it is showing up. Tiger nut flour. This is another one that's not on a lot of items, but it's showing up. The most popular item that has tiger nut flour is Birch Benders. So a lot of the Birch Benders products have this tiger nut flour in it. And tiger nut flour is considered a low glycemic flour, but it's not keto. So I really want people to be able to separate in their mind low carb and keto. Because, yeah, it may fit a person that's doing 100 carbs a day, but it's not going to fit a person that's doing 20 carbs a day. It's going to be too much. And why would we want an item that has that in there when we got almond flour that has a 0 glycemic index? So wheat flour, white flour, bleached white flour, and then they have this blanched white flour. So those, and they put those words in front of it, and people think because that word is in front of it, it makes it okay. It's not. Cassava starch. My Birch Benders products have this cassava starch in it. And it was heartbreaking because I used to love the Birch Bender product line, but I tested my blood sugar on those and it's skyrocketing because it has cassava starch and tiger nut flour. And that was heartbreaking for those Birch Bender products for me to see that. Chicory root starch or flour, and then there's oat flour. So these are all some of the common ones that you see on products that people always ask me, is this one okay? Then if you see these, they're automatic fail. Now, the only, I would say, reason why it wouldn't be an automatic fail is if it is in parentheses or it's in the less than 2%. And if it's in parentheses or less than 2%, then you have to make a decision for yourself. I say stay away from it. If you're in weight loss mode, stay totally away from it because it's just going to get you to make better decisions. Because at the end of the day, we can find something better. In this day and age, we can find something that doesn't have that stuff in it. And not only that, but you'll be training these companies to not put that mess in it because nobody's buying it. So once everyone gets on the same page and nobody's buying it because it has tiger nut starch in it or tiger nut flour or cassava starch, then they'll get with the program. the best example is those skinny syrups. So the skinny syrups, they all had sucralose in them for years. Everybody was drinking skinny syrups, and then when keto kind of got popular and people started really recognizing sucralose as a food item or an ingredient that they don't want to consume, then they came out with a keto version, and all they really did was take out the sucralose. So that tells you that the companies know that sucralose is not the best ingredient. They know it's not the best ingredient. So they already know that. Tarani's did the same thing. They came out with a whole new line of syrups and they took sucralose out of it. So they know better. They just think we don't know better. So they just gonna sell us anything. So at the end of the day, it's good to know what these ingredients are. And if you see it in parentheses or less than 2%, if you're in weight loss mode, still leave it there. And maybe if you're doing a more relaxed version of the ketogenic lifestyle, or if it's like a choice day type situation, then I say go along with it. But other than that, I would leave it in the store. Now, last but not least, I have a quick example of chocolate, because chocolate is the one thing that's really funny when it comes to the ketogenic lifestyle. And I learned this after my weight loss period of time because chocolate is all we always told to eat dark chocolate, right? So the one thing you got to know about dark chocolate is that you should be looking for something that's 85% or higher. So you should be looking for something that's 85% or higher. That's the first thing. Maybe 75, 80, 85, somewhere around in that realm. But you shouldn't be eating like 55% dark chocolate because it's going to be way too sugary. So here is a company's dark chocolate. So in my grading system, and I have this on the screen. Y'all can see it here. So in my grading system, and I don't have to read it, but you can see it. I'm going to talk it out. It has total carbs of 11. So when the first thing I do is I look at the food label, total carbs of 11. I'm subtracting 1 point for every carb over 10. So this only loses 1 point to start. So -1. We look at the total sugars. The total sugars are 4. Which is higher in the realm of total sugars that I like to take in or like to have, my members take in. So include added sugar is 4 grams. So that means all of the sugar that's in this candy bar that is supposed to, there's 85% dark chocolate is all added sugar. So 4 grams of added sugar. So y'all know on added sugar, I subtract 10 points for every single gram. So this particular dark chocolate would get a -41 before I even look at the ingredients. So this would have a failing grade. Now, what I have started teaching over, I would say, the last year or so is to eat lilies, because the lilies is not going to use sugar. They're going to use erythritol or stevia or whatever sweetener they're going to use. So you can get a 70-75% dark chocolate and eat lilies. And this one is crazy because it has 15 grams of fat, which is why you want to eat the darker versions of chocolate, because you're going to get 50 grams. You're going to get higher grams of fat, which is the hardest thing to get. And y'all know I talk about getting your 20s. There's one of the ways to get your 20s, but get a Lily's chocolate and get the Lily's 85%. So I've been teaching people to get the Lily's 85% because you're not going to get any sugar as a sweetener. And you're going to be able to get 15 to 20 grams of fat out of that particular bar of candy. So I see a question said, how many calories should you be intaking if full-blown keto? I would say at least around 1,500. That's where I start everybody, and then we evaluate from there. So I would say somewhere around that 1,500 is a great starting place. Now, each individual is going to be a little bit different here or there, but nobody should be down under 1,000 calories. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is because we hear in the dietary world that we have to be in a caloric deficit, which in keto, you're there already. So if we're doing 1,500 and you do their caloric deficit calculator, you'll see that you're already in a caloric deficit. But people kind of like double down. Like they do keto and then they try to get themselves even deeper into a caloric deficit, and it doesn't work out that way. Then people start losing hair, they're not getting enough nutrients, they're not getting enough protein. So I always start you at about 1,500, and then we can work from up or down to see exactly where to go from there. So that is total sugar. So y'all see this particular candy bar is 85% dark chocolate, which is one that I used to eat on a regular basis. I used to eat on a regular basis, like literally 4 grams of added sugar. So just imagine this candy bar company made the chocolate, got it going, and they took 4 grams of sugar, scoops of sugar, and put it into that one candy bar. It's not even natural. It's not even the natural sugar that's in it. It's just 4 straight scoops. But what the average person would do is look at this and see 11 grams of carbs. They'll see the 4 grams of fiber, which still makes this super high. This still makes this like a super high item. But even like the Lindt dark chocolate is the same way. The Ghirardellis. So we've done that in the mastermind where I pull those up on the screen and show everybody exactly like what those numbers are. So y'all, that is a quick overview. He said he's still talking about that hurt. What is that hurt my heart? I don't know what is that. I can't see what it uses. I don't know why. What's the name stopped working? It like used to tell me who everybody was. Y'all gotta let StreamYard. Oh, you talking about that Birch Benders? Yeah, that Birch Benders hurt me. Yeah. I used to love Birch Benders. So on the Facebook and the YouTube side, y'all. Oh, hey, Misha. We that I wanted y'all to get a good look at the grading system and the grading scale and how it's going to help you. So you can see the website. You can see you'll be able to click and say, oh man, I need to know what's the bad artificial sweetener that Coach always talk about. You can click the button and go right to it. You can say, oh man, what's the bad sugar alcohols? Boom, click right on it. What's the good sugar alcohol? Boom, click right on it. What's the good flours? Boom, what's the bad flours? You can click, what's the good oils? What's the bad oil? So you can click right here and see it. And I'm going to add a section. Y'all can see here, I'm going to add some examples. So I'm going to take some popular products and I'm going to do examples. And I'm going to break down on the side exactly what that food item, what its grade would be. So, and I'm going to like kind of walk you through the grading system. And you can see I do walk you through a little bit on this one. I show you how this is like an example here of how to read this food label. So you can see it there where I say total sugars are 4, added sugars are 4. So this loses a minus 40. Subtract 10 points for every gram of added sugar. So we didn't even look at the ingredients, but most chocolate doesn't have. It's not going to have anything that's going to lose points because it shouldn't have any starch in it, and it could have inflammatory oil, but most of them do not. So thank y'all on the Facebook and the YouTube side for coming, y'all. We're gonna have our after party, which I call an after party on TikTok and Clubhouse. So I'm gonna start doing the dual live thing there on TikTok and Clubhouse. So hey, Lisa, so definitely jump over, meet us on Clubhouse or meet us on TikTok. If you're not a part of my Clubhouse club, it's called Club Keto. I will be in there a little bit more often, just talking about some topics, and I'm going to literally have a topic. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to keep it moving. Like, I'm not going to be in there all day. I'm going to have a topic that I'm going to talk about for about an hour or so, or until I feel like individuals have gotten the information they needed to get, and then I will be out of there. But the after party is going to be there, so y'all ask questions. And like I tell y'all, as long as y'all asking questions, I'm here. I usually don't shut down TikTok until we stop getting questions. So hopefully, Lil Reds, that helped with the calories. And I always talk about calories being something that's in the back of your mind and not the front of your mind. Like once you have your macros set up, you should be really focused on hitting. And I say hitting those numbers, but you're not going to hit them square every single day. But you definitely want to focus on the macros instead of focusing on the calories where they'll actually work themselves out. So he said, what are you looking at? Oh yeah, y'all can't see that on TikTok, Lil Riz. I'm looking at my YouTube and my Facebook. So if you get into my Facebook group, you'll be able to go back and look at it and actually see the layout. So I'm going to bid my YouTube and Facebook folks adieu. Y'all check out the links in the bio, in the description. You can get my book on Amazon. There it is, right there behind me. So my book on Amazon, y'all can see I created a coloring book too. That's also there on Amazon. If you go to the link in the bio, you'll be able to find those items. So thank y'all for popping in, and I will see y'all all next Sunday. See y'all. Join us for the after party on TikTok and Clubhouse.